Everyone, and welcome to week 3 run 1. Because we had guests, I had to run in the evening, and I always want to run in the morning because I feel it's easier. It's good to know that I can run in the evenings as well. It really did get hot though, as you can see for yourself. Second run of the week. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'll be damned if I felt too hot today. Also, I am attempting to not listen to music, but to listen to a podcast to learn German. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it works and I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, that'd be great. Let's do this. So I'm done with the run. There were some intervals up to 2.5 minutes. That was okay. The weather at 6:30 in the morning in the middle of August is perfect. There were actually more runners than usual, and that makes sense. It's a good time to run, really. I'm not so sure that the podcast got all the attention it deserves. I'm listening to Coffee Break German in addition to learning with Babbel. And I don't know, I'll try again. Just once was not enough to decide whether it's a good thing or not. The real issue, the bigger issue is stretching. On Monday evening, when close to 9 o'clock in the evening, I finally got the courage to go out and run. When I got home, I was so sweaty and hot, and I felt disgusted, and I had only one thought: hit the shower. So I didn't even consider stretching. Today, I did think of it. But I don't know, the moment I get home, I am going to put the numbers in my log, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to get ready for the day, like the run is done. So I think the obvious solution is to stretch before I get home. That feels awkward. Like if I was stretching on the path where I run, that would be better, but stretching in the middle of the town feels really weird. I don't know, if you have suggestions, do tell me. I feel that the moment I get home, I'm done with the run. And I don't see myself stretching once I get home. That would be the obvious place to stretch, though. Something I need to figure out. That's it for today. See you soon. When the voice in the app told me that we would have 4 intervals up to 3 minutes, my heart sank a little bit. Also, this morning I was woken up a lot earlier by the cat, and I know I could have slept a bit longer. As I was running, I was listening to Coffee Break German because I love the idea of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The week 3 is mostly done. All I have to do is the recap at the end of the week. Today, for the first time, when they ask at the end of the run if you think it's too hard or too easy or just right, I actually did consider saying it was too hard. The only thing that stopped me is that if I say it was too hard, we are not going to run as much, and I assume instead of 8 weeks, it might be 9 or 10 weeks, and the last thing I want is to make this thing last longer. So it turns out I was wrong last week. The real challenge is going to be week 4. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure if I was going to do an update for this week because the numbers felt quite flat, not very interesting compared to the first and the second week. But also, I was worried you would think that I had given up on the challenge altogether. So here we are, and it turns out I had quite a lot of things to say. Let's get to it. Let me start with the reality check. This week ended with the first really unpleasant run so far, and that combined with the metrics that don't really indicate some sort of improvement, my motivation took a hit. There is something about one rough session that can overshadow the progress of the whole week, or as it turns out, the past 3 weeks, so I'm really trying very hard to not focus on that. That's where the data analysis becomes interesting and a little bit reassuring. The first week is what researchers call shock adaptation. The body goes from 0 aerobic stress to suddenly having to cope with running intervals. The big jump in metrics like VO2 max happens here because everything is new. Now the following weeks, by contrast, the consolidation phase, where the cardiovascular system isn't making dramatic leaps, but it's stabilizing and building the foundation for the next adaptation cycle. So looking at my data against beginner benchmark shows that I'm actually ahead in a few metrics. Like my cardio recovery is fine, my resting heart rate is pretty good, so I guess it's good. Let's say that this flat feeling is not so much stagnation as it is adaptation. And yes, I know that me telling you that it sounds like I'm trying to convince myself. I probably am. That's how it is. I still don't know what to make of the sleep metrics. My sleep duration and quality were kind of all over the place during the week. Maybe it's related to the challenge. Maybe it's related to my cat Latte, who demanded attention very early a couple of times. I did have a rough night Thursday to Friday, and then Friday is when I had that tougher run. So I am wondering if I shouldn't try to be a little more proactive with my sleep. So far, I've simply recorded how long I slept and the quality of the sleep according to the app, but I haven't taken any steps to try and improve my sleep quality. So food for thought. Last week, the big question was stretching. So here's a bit of an update on that. I completely failed week 1 and 2. Honestly, most of week 3 as well. On Friday, I did stretch a little bit. It was very quick, just calves, the thighs. To be honest, I looked left and right to see if there was anyone coming. And I think if there had been someone, I would have probably kept on walking. However, there is hope. Because last week I started the Inner Peace Challenge, and part of the Inner Peace Challenge is stretching. That should be done ideally in the morning after getting up or in the evening before going to bed. But I'm hoping that the prospect of doing one thing that counts for 2 things is going to please my brain and is going to help me stretch a little more. When and how, still a mystery. Now, here's where I had an interesting psychological flip. On Friday after my run, I told you I was considering telling the app that it was too hard. And now I'm thinking maybe I should go the other way around, tell the app that it wasn't that hard. Okay, part of that is it means I'm done with the running sooner, but I do have some reasoning behind that. The first one is my watch tells me that the effort is moderate so far when I run. The metrics that I have seem to indicate that I'm not really pushing hard at all. So I think maybe I can do it. And also maybe if I run a little more, then there would be more intensity that might create more muscle soreness. And then I would be more motivated to stretch because I would feel that I need it rather than I have to take the box. So I'm putting this to you. Should I push the app to increase the intensity or trust the gradual progression it's designed around? I'm really quite split on this one. My metrics suggest I can handle more, but there's also wisdom in building sustainable habits before chasing the performance. So what do you think? Any comments or perspective on the matter would be really useful. And honestly, collective wisdom is always better than an individual guesswork. Week 4 starts on Monday. I'll keep tracking everything and I'll keep sharing what happens.